कुमार साहब नायक है गोंगो लिबू लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, dishonest dealers affect Kava exports. Domestic violence cases still go unreported, says Turangani Koro, and no response on lot applications 10 years on.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
It has come to light that some kava dealers in Fiji are not being honest as they are mixing kava from other countries in their products before exporting them. This reduces the quality of kava being exported and has affected the Fijian market. Relevant authorities are now spearheading the Pacific Horticultural and Market Access Program to educate dealers on maintaining their standards to meet the market demand. Chosai Nunga has more.
No.
This training in the Northern Division aims to educate farmers on the importance of maintaining the quality of cover being produced.
So we cannot just say we don't want this cover to come into our country from these particular countries. We have to, but there should be a protocol that says that origin of cover going from Fiji is originally from Fiji, and that is what we are working hard on.
Boosting the standard and marketing of homegrown cover is critical, particularly in these trying times, says the operations manager for Takimai.
So, because our product is being always tested about these pesticides, about the levels of metals, about the microbial and all this kind of stuff. So this is really, really important to bring everybody together and raise the cover standard for Fiji.
Monica Dhakumbau from Boa has been doing Yangona farming for 13 years now and says she has no regrets indulging in this viable industry.
I'm boldly saying that commercial cover farming is a very good business. My husband and I have invested a lot in the business and we are reaping the fruit of our sacrifices.
As these dealers and farmers are anticipating the outcome of the endorsed cover bill, the Agriculture Ministry believes more awareness is needed at the grassroots level.
And that's what the task force is trying to do, is take the standard down to the farmers level so they understand the requirements of important countries. The requirements to penetrate our cover into the global markets.
The training program is spearheaded by the South Pacific Community Pacific Agriculture Policy Project with the University of the South Pacific and the Agriculture Ministry. Areas covered so far include Kandavu, Obolau, Tabiuni, and the recent was at Saolo village in Boa. Chosai Nunga, FBC News.
Domestic violence often occurs when the abuser believes that abuse is acceptable, justified or unlikely to be reported. Speaking after the week-long workshop on male advocacy for ending violence against women, Sakai Malani, who is a Turangani Koro from Vivili village in Lakaundrove, highlighted that there are many unreported cases, even from his village. Recent statistics reveal that as of July, only 574 domestic violence cases have been reported. Kritika Kumar reports.
Sekeya Malani believes domestic violence remains one of the most underreported crime for both men and women.
As for my village, there are unreported cases of violence against women. However, there might be some incidents that are happening in a few households. I will go back to the village and as a Turangani Koro, I will advise the villagers, especially women, to report this issue.
Another participant, Pastor Jeremena Vico, says Fijians need to speak openly about domestic violence.
So I was a bit reluctant about the issues about violence against women because mainly the men has been pointed to this crime.
Vico adds many pastors have also committed the offense. He adds many people do not see themselves as abusers or victims because they think family conflicts just got out of control.
The danger of counseling women. I've been taught in the Salvation Army that you should counsel your own agenda.
The Male Advocacy for Ending Violence Against Women workshop was targeted towards retired police officers, Turangani Koros and youth leaders, as they will become good advocates to end violence against women and children. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
A 5-year-old child has died following a motor vehicle accident at Sorokomba in Ba this morning. The victim was walking in front of her mother when she allegedly ran across the road. Police say she was allegedly hit by an oncoming vehicle driven by a woman in her 20s from Rarawa in Ba. The driver is in custody at the Ba police station as the investigation continues. The road death toll currently stands at 21 compared to 37 for the same period last year. Constitution Day was celebrated differently this year due to the impacts of the coronavirus pandemic. Children were asked to take part in a virtual celebration by showing their creativity on a prompt provided by the government. Hundreds of students made their entries through essays, videos, poems and short stories on the topic, "Given the challenge of the coronavirus pandemic, how can all of us work together to uphold every Fijian's right to health as enshrined in our Constitution?" President Major General retired Chiochi Kondrote today announced 5 national winners who are currently being hosted at the State House.
We are grateful to the parents and teachers around the country who helped us make this year's Constitution Day a success. I hope you had fun with your videos and all learned something along the way.
Fijians have been waiting for as long as 10 years to receive a response from the Housing Authority on their application for lot allotments. This is one of the main concerns registered by the Public Inquiry Committee, tasked to look into the possible irregularities and fraudulent transactions in relation to the allocation of lots by the authority. Ritika Pratap reports the committee held consultations in the north last week.
The lack of correspondence from Housing Authority staff have left Fijians frustrated and in the dark on the status of their application for housing lots.
There were also concerns raised whereby people were quite worried, saying that, now because they are aging, they are very close to their retirement age, they may not be able to own a home. They have already, lodged their applications, like 15. Some of them have lodged their applications in 1990s, and to this date, they have not received any correspondence.
Shandil says another concern is that people have been allocated plots in different divisions.
For example, there was this, customer who came to us, and she has been born and bred in Lambasa, and she's working in Lambasa, but the land that has been allocated to her, or rather the plot that has been allocated to her, is in Nende. So now her concern is, like, while she has accepted it because she wants to call something own a property and call it a home, she's really not sure what she's going to do.
Overall, the consultation in Lambasa gave the committee some good responses.
In 2006, I applied to purchase a house which was on mortgage sale in Rewai. My application was accepted and I also paid $100. But since then, I have not received any reply from Housing Authority.
The inquiry committee will submit its final report at the end of this month. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Up ahead, petty crime in CBD mostly involves children, and funds raised to build home for mother and daughter. Stay with us.
मैं तो दिल्ली में रहता हूँ और रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
Fijians were today once again reminded to practice healthy eating habits and exercise regularly, as 80% of deaths in recent years were as a result of non-communicable diseases. Defence Minister Nia Seruratu, while opening the Estes Wellness Centre in Asinu today, says it is a timely move, as the centre will help the public make healthy choices. Josai Nanunga reports.
His local natural ingredients will be used by the centre to not only cure illnesses but will also promote Fiji's agricultural sector.
Government has also been investing in initiatives that are capitalizing and increasing the return on agriculture by adding value to agricultural produce through agro-processing.
This wellness center started operation last year and has been receiving positive feedbacks from people locally and abroad. Chosai Nanunga, FBC News.
The Suva City Council has noted that pickpocketing and petty crime in the Central Business District mostly involves children. Chair of Special Administrators Ezekiel Tikunduandua told FBC News that this is concerning and indicates there is lack of parental supervision. Vinina Rakautonga reports.
These petty crime involving young adults are mostly happening in crowded areas near the bus stand and the market.
I think most of these children, if I may say so, really probably come from families that are, there's no real parental guidance.
Ezekiel Tikunduandua is reminding Fijians to remain extra cautious with their belongings.
To be vigilant in the way that they go out and ensure that they protect their valuables, and to ensure that when they go out they lock their vehicle, and just be observant where you go, the time that you go out to. Don't be, where you're not supposed to be, the hours that you're out there, and practice safety. Go in groups.
Fiji Police Force Chief Operations Officer ACP Abdul Khan says the force is working closely with the retailers.
We are trying to work very closely with the community out there to see if the business communities can also assist in terms of the existing cameras that are out there in towns and cities, that we can hook that up in our command centers.
The SEC, together with police, has beefed up its surveillance and supervision in hotspot areas, especially during peak hours. Venina Rakautonga, FBC News.
The peri-urban and rural energy Fiji Limited customers are transitioning to prepaid or cash power supply. Chief Executive Hasmukh Patel says it is an expensive affair to administer the customers in rural areas in terms of meter reading and giving out bills. Patel says prepaid electricity gives Fijians an opportunity to save money and control their usage.
Obviously, that doesn't necessitate EFL to go on a monthly basis to read their meters, because people can buy electricity as and when and the amount required depending on their financial situation.
A 28-year-old mother and her 1-year-old daughter, who have been living in a tent since Tropical Cyclone Harold damaged their home in Navua, will soon move into a new house. Make a Difference Fiji has been raising funds through charity Car Wash in Nandi to build a decent home for the family. Details with Felipe Naikaso.
More than $1,500 was raised during this event for a worthy cause.
It was really sad seeing that there's a woman with a child living in a tent. So we are trying from our side to help as much as we can. And so whatever we raise here in Nandi goes to Pinyana's house building also.
The organization is also accepting building materials as they believe a new house will make a huge impact on the mother of one.
People have come in numbers to get their car washed and to buy food from us today. And yeah, we have mostly it's our friends and the people we know.
Also, during this difficult time due to the pandemic, the organization has been distributing groceries to families in need.
So far raised groceries for 50 families, which we will be starting to distribute from coming month. And we also are actually looking for more groceries. We need 100 families more extra that we have to cater for.
Make a Difference Fiji started 4 years ago in a bid to assist families who may be facing difficulties. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
The British High Commission in Fiji has assured its commitment to helping persons with disabilities. Deputy High Commissioner Paul Welsh says the British government ensures there is equality for all, especially during the pandemic. The High Commission donated $3,000 to the Right Empowerment and Cohesion Project, an initiative under the Ministry of Children and Poverty Alleviation.
We've set aside some money across the world, but including in the Pacific, to try and help communities that have been disadvantaged through COVID-19 and are being prevented from accessing services.
Ahead in sports, Nandronga focus on Suva rematch, and Navua stuns Lambasa in VPL. Details after the break.
Pula nadang go approach lang karse, go erkraki. Radio Fiji One, nandomo ibiti.
Radio Fiji One, nandomo ibiti.
Naitasiri under-19 forward Keresi Maya has been banned from all levels of rugby for 6 years for an act of foul play. The Fiji Rugby Union came to the decision after Maya punched referee Penny Talemai Vavalangi during the under-19 match between Naitasiri and Tailevu on August 29th. The sanction comes after a disciplinary hearing was conducted by an independent judicial officer appointed under the terms of participation of the 2020 Fiji Rugby Skipper Cup competition. The hearing was conducted in line with World Rugby 7's Regulation 17. FRU Chief Executive John O'Connor states the union does not condone any form of violence or abuse against match officials. The BLK Nandronga side has now set its focus on the rematch with Suva in round 7 of the Skipper Cup competition. The Stallions, who edged Suva 15-13 in the opening match in Lawanga Park, know the capital city side will be out for blood after thrashing Fairbrother title holders Namosi 37-12 over the weekend. Felipe Naikaso has more.
The Stallions know they will have to lift their performance when they take on Suva after a narrow 10-8 win against Lautoka on Saturday.
To get that penalty, it's a big advantage for us, and thank the boys for the hard work.
Nandronga is aware of the capital city side's capabilities and has relooked at some aspects of their game to make improvements.
Suva is a champion team as well. As we know, when Nandronga takes on Suva, it's a big game. We know what Suva is capable of. They got big forwards, they got big names there.
Meanwhile, the spirit in the Maroons camp, on the other hand, has not dampened despite their close loss against Nandronga, as they will regroup ahead of their clash with Naitasiri.
It goes back again to our decision making at the last quarter. But that doesn't portray a bad sign. We're still in the race. That's a good thing.
Nandronga will host Suva this Saturday, while Lautoka plays Naitasiri at Churchill Park. Felipe Naikaso, FBC Sports.
The Mboa rugby side will need to improve their discipline as they prepare to take on Madawata in the Vodafone Vanoi Challenge this week. Mboa copped 1 red card in their first match against Dakandrove and last week were handed a red and 3 yellow cards during the match against Overlau. Caroline Tavi has more.
The Mboa side is yet to secure a win, and ill discipline may be a major contributing factor.
1 red card and 3 yellow cards is not good at this level of competition. To finish with just 13 men on the field, in the end, it's just not good to allow us to finish positively like we started.
Kalo says they are working on ensuring that players have the right mentality to play clean rugby.
Our weakness that we've been working hard to improve, we've been working hard on the mentality of our players. Unfortunately, still didn't improve, and that's exactly what we're going to work on our game against Madhuata next week.
The Overlau rugby side, which has recorded its 3rd successive win in the Vanua Cup, know the importance of teamwork.
The boys failed to execute the game plan, which in turn led to our downfall. Players in the end played for themselves and not as a team. I had to remind the team of how important it is to work together.
Bua will host Madhuata at the Lekutu School Grounds on Saturday. Carlini Tavi, FBC Sports.
The Nandi football side is expecting an uphill battle when they take on Vodafone Premier League table leaders Rewa this weekend. Following a 3-2 win over Lautoka yesterday, the Jet Setters are now hoping for a back-to-back win. Felipe Naikaso has more.
A number of areas needs improvement for the Nandi side ahead of the clash with the Delta Tigers this weekend.
When we need to make the game fast, some of the players were slowing it down, so what we did in the training, basically they didn't want to do.
Swami admits the win over Lautoka was a lucky one and they won't take any chances against Rewa.
Yeah, of course, yes, it will be a tough match. They will be coming for us as we have beaten them in BOG. So it will be a tough match. So let's hope we play well and we prepare well forever.
Meanwhile, a frustrated Lutoka coach says they gave the game away to Nandi, especially with a number of individual errors.
The performance of the boys, what I have said last week, there is an improvement in the performance. Even though if you would have won the game, I would have said the same. The performance has improved. And even though we have lost the game, I will again say the performance has improved.
Nandi will play Rawa at 3 p.m. on Sunday, while Lutoka meets Suva. Philippa Naikasu, FBC Sports.
Foval Suva striker Sairusi Nalambu made a great comeback after playing an instrumental role in the Vodafone Premier League match against Ba yesterday. Nalambu had failed to capitalise on his scoring opportunities during the Punjab's Battle of the Giants final against Rewa last month, which raised many eyebrows. However, the 23-year-old did not let this deter him as he came back firing, scoring 3 goals against Lambasa 2 weeks ago and 2 against Ba yesterday. Caroline Tavi has more.
Head coach Babs Khan believes proper guidance and game time can mold players like Nalombu to become professionals.
Oh yeah, he's working hard. You know, we talked to him. We've been talking when he missed the goal in the BOG, and we always encouraged him. We did not say that he was a bad player or a bad striker. I mean, now he's showing it. It was just a matter of time, giving him game time, and the players around him. They helped him come to do whatever he's doing right now.
After the win over Ba yesterday, it is back to the drawing board for the capital side.
Oh, we'll take every game it is come. We'll assess injuries when we go back to the camp, and we'll see our physio, what he comes up with, and we'll take it from there.
Ba President Renal Kumar says the Men in Black still have a lot of work to do on their finishing.
The team played well. It's just, like I said, finishing. I think we have to really work hard. It carried on from the BOG. It's just in front of goal we are lacking.
The capital side has jumped to second spot, taking over from the Men in Blacks with 18 points from 9 games. And Ba is on third spot with 16 points. Carlini Tavi, FBC Sports.
The win over the AMPS Industries Nasino football side was a much-needed one for the Rewa football. Head coach Marika Rondu made the comments following their 1-0 victory over the Giant Killers in their Vodafone Premier League clash at Ratadakambao Park yesterday. Rondu says bagging the 3 points was crucial as they look to maintain their spot at the top of the table.
The result we will take, I think, to maintain our position at the top. I think the 3 points was important for us. You see, towards the game, the boys did not play normally. When I say normally, keep possession, build the game from the back. Because I understand the behavior, because they want to keep the 1-0 win.
Fijian internationals Micah Sivo and Wanga Blake scored a try each in the Parramatta Eels' 24-18 win over the Warriors last night. Sivo opened the scores in the 4th minute, scoring his 13th try of the season, while Blake scored a try 20 minutes into the second half. And weather mostly fine and cool conditions prevailed over most parts of the country today. Meanwhile, a trough of low pressure is expected to approach the group from the north and affect parts of the country from Wednesday. Quick look at the weather map. Looking at the west, a mixture of sun and clouds with breezy conditions from late afternoon. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, mostly breezy and sunny weather prevailed. And up north, a cloudy and humid day. At sea, moderate to fresh southeasterly winds, rough seas, moderate southerly swells. Turning to the tides, the next high tide is at 10:07 p.m. with low tide at 4:26 tomorrow morning. Sunrise is at 6:08. Now for tomorrow, fine apart from possible brief afternoon or evening showers. And our further outlook, we're looking further on to Wednesday. Occasional showers are to be expected over Kantavu, the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands and southern Lao Group. Elsewhere cloudy with some showers. Recapping the main stories, for tonight, dishonest dealers affect Kava exports. Domestic violence cases still go unreported, says Turangani Koro, and no response on lot applications 10 years on. For these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. Our poll question last week we had asked, should players who abuse match officials be banned from playing for life? 69% said yes. This week we're asking, should manufacturers caught breaching a single-use plastic bag ban be penalized? Visit our FBC website to answer. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, our Facebook page FBC News, and our Twitter page at FBC_news. That's your news for tonight. Until tomorrow, from the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable new week ahead. Bye for now.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.